Okay, so we're live, Tal. So hello to everyone. I noticed that there's a few people already in the chat anticipating this special stream, which I'm very fortunate. I consider myself very fortunate to have first of all known GM Grandmaster Tal Baron, and been able to reach out to him, and he very kindly agreed to come onto my stream to do a combination of two things. One of the questions that I see asked a lot is, one of the things that I hear about is that many players, they like to ask different questions to grandmasters, right? And sometimes, when they don't have a grandmaster, they ask me these questions, right? But in general, they want to ask, the top titled guys. So I've been meaning for a while to try to get a grandmaster onto the show so we can kind of pick his brains. And in addition to that, he's also agreed to play a Blitz tournament afterwards. We're going to have that on Lichess, and it'll be something like an hour, about an hour of questions right now, and about an hour of the tournament, give or take. So anybody who's been tuning into the stream can check out, we'll get a link in the chat, and you guys can join the tournament, and I hope that it will be good fun for everyone involved, whether or not you get paired against Tal. So yeah, that's kind of an introduction from me, just very quick for those of you who don't know what's going on. And over to you, Tal, if you want to say something to our viewers.
Hello, everyone. Alex initiated this nice idea and of creating a Q&A with some grandmaster, and hopefully this idea will take place on a regular basis with many strong players to come, and I'm honored to be the first one to start off this concept.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Tal, and let me just see what is going on. So people are saying that I'm a little bit loud in comparison to Tal. Okay, we can try to modify that perhaps if I change like this so that you are now speaking. And the other thing I can do is just reduce my own speaker volume by a little bit, like something such as this. Let me just try and change that. Hopefully it is not a major issue. And we can go properties and levels, and we do something along these lines. Let me know, guys, if that has made a difference for the better or not. Myself and Tal, actually, we got speaking. For those of you who are maybe unaware, the first time I suppose that we spoke or that we met was in Gibraltar a number of years ago. I think 5 years ago, and we played a Blitz game. I remember, kind of an interesting game, and it was kind of chatted a little bit afterwards and friendly, and I remembered him from this incident. But we never really got in touch until around April. I set up a YouTube channel, as most of my viewers will know. And I remember that I saw, the second you kind of set up a YouTube channel, you become very aware of who else is there, right? Who else is setting up a channel. And I see, oh, this guy, right? This guy, I remember this guy. And it was like, it was your channel. And I remember at first being a little bit worried, Tal, because I was like, shit, I don't want, I'm trying to stand there and here's a new guy, and he's got some kind of probably some similar ideas, but of course he's got that G before the M, right? And I got the I before the M. I'm not too happy about this. But then I saw that your approach to the channel was very different. And then, so at that point I reached out to Tal and say, hey, let's be friends, right? So, because what Tal does with his channel, for those of you who haven't seen it, I do recommend it very strongly. Is he primarily at the moment? He might expand in the future, but at the moment he plays some Blitz games, and he provides the commentary afterwards, and even sometimes analysis of, you know, especially the, correct me if I'm wrong, Tal, but especially the opening stage of the game afterwards, and I really highly recommend it for people who you know, want to work on their opening, because I'll be the first to admit that, and I'm not the only international master that does this, that, you know, sometimes after move 4 or 5, I'm already not exactly sure what the strongest variations are. I've never seen that happen to Tal. He's always aware of, you know, what are the main developments, what is this, and his struggle, his most common struggle is trying to remember his very, very good theory. My struggle is trying to remember to study theory in the first place, right? I mean, I don't do it. So I think that Tal's channel is especially effective for those of you who want to work on the opening. And of course, he's a grandmaster, so every other level of the game is played at an extremely high level. Some quick facts about him: he just turned 24 a week ago, so he's a young grandmaster, and he's Israeli. And we should all congratulate him, actually, because Israel is a very, very strong chess nation. Obviously, you know, probably the most famous name, at least in modern times, would be Boris Gelfand. You know, famously challenged Anand for the World Championship, and was narrowly defeated. And so yeah, it's an extremely strong nation. But Tal has actually managed to make it onto an Olympiad, and that is this coming Olympiad. He is going to be a part of the Israeli national team, which is a real honor, and so congratulations on my part, Tal.
Thanks. It's a dream come true, but to be honest, I still have to prove myself. To just make it to the team, it's probably not the most difficult part. So I'm very looking forward to this event in 2 weeks.
Yeah, of course. It's in 2 weeks from now. I forgot how soon it is, and it's in Baku, right? Have you played
Azerbaijan? And yeah, and I have no clue how to prepare for such an event. I've heard some top players sometimes mentioning this type of special preparation for the Olympiad or strong events, but all I can imagine is doing the regular things, and yeah, I'm kind of nervous.
And of course, you have some really extremely professional chess players on the team with you, correct? Who's the top Israeli board?
So board number 1, I'll say it by rating more or less. So Rochten, then Postny, and then Royce and Nabati are narrowly the same rating. I think Nabati is a bit higher, and I am the 5th board. So there are 4 players in each round. I'm going to be the replacement, the 5th board.
Okay.
Yeah, that's more or less the team, and I don't really know what's going to be the order of the boards in the actual event, but that's up to the captain to decide.
And if I'm correct, Rothstein was one of Boris Gelfand's, you know, let's say part of Boris Gelfand's team for his.
Yeah, and it's he was also a world champion under 16, if I remember correctly, and crossed 2700 recently. About 3 or 4 months ago, maybe more. So, yeah, probably our biggest hope for the next Gelfand.
Yeah, he's also relatively young. He's maybe 27 or 28, something like this.
I believe he's 27 this year. Yeah.
27. Okay. So, so what we have here, by the way, is as you can see, guys, we have the chessboard. Oh, sorry. I wanted to say before I get on to that, yeah, just on the topic of hold on a second, guys. Oh yeah, the other thing that I wanted to point out is Tal you know, I remember, I think in 2011, yeah, you were already a grandmaster when I would have met you in person, and or in 2012 or so, and it was, I guess you had recently become a grandmaster. Tal actually achieved the grandmaster title at the age of 18, which is quite a feat. Of course, it's not, you know, Karyakin level or Carlson level, but it's pretty close. Well, it's pretty close. It's pretty amazing for somebody to reach the grandmaster title at that stage, and of course at this point, you know, 24 years old, but already a kind of a veteran grandmaster with the title for about 6 years. So let us see what else I wanted to say. The final thing is also just to give you an idea of Tal's strength. Over the board, his probably his biggest scalp to date has been Grandmaster, I believe, Alexander Ryazantsev.
Yeah, Ryazantsev.
Russian Grandmaster, who at the time would have been rated about 2714, right? So just over the 2700 mark, and that has been his toughest opponent defeated over the board to date. But online, I know that Tal's most popular video on YouTube is, well, maybe you can say it yourself, Tal.
Yeah, actually there's a story behind the video that I just started the channel, and it was basically the 4th video I've ever recorded, and I was very unused to actually talking while playing, and I played against a higher rated opponent, 400 points above my rating on ICC, in Blitz 3-minute pool, and only 2 months later, after having defeated this guy and having published the video, this same username, he won the ICC Open, at least the qualifier, very convincingly, beating top players like Rishuk and Nepomniachtchi and many others. And yeah, this guy, in order to qualify for the finals, he had to reveal his name, and he claimed to be Magnus Carlsen, and I believe this was verified by ICC, and he actually played in the final. And then I decided to publish in the title that I played against Magnus Carlsen, and yeah, it's definitely his user, and that's the best win I achieved so far. Until someone better will show up, we'll see.
It's hard to find a better opponent.
Well, yeah, it was only one game, but I mean, I was extremely pleased to discover 2 months after the game that who was the guy. And as some of the comments in my video mentioned, had I known it was Carlsen, I probably wouldn't be as concentrated and as cold-blooded.
Yeah, you were pretty casual about it, even though when you saw his rating.
Well, yeah. We have many anonymous players there on ICC with a high rating, and yeah, some of them are not Magnus Carlsen, so yeah.
Yeah, of course. But I wanted to say actually something about this, which is so this video is up on YouTube. You can find it in your channel. So can I ask you, I mean, what was your motivation for setting up this YouTube channel about 4 months ago?
Well, I can't really say for sure. I haven't defined it exactly, but it started from a good friend of mine who asked me about my routine as a chess player, and I told him that I like to play between 2 to 3 hours of Blitz a day, and we talked about this subject, and somehow we reached he suggested the idea that I can open a YouTube channel where I do the exact same thing, only with one difference. I press one button to record the videos, and then some other people will potentially enjoy this process of me humiliating myself online. So I find it very interesting how it actually took off from there. And now I'm actually thinking about expanding and doing some other things like analyzing games and so on, but I still haven't defined any goals except maybe sharing the love and passion for the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so for now, let's just take the first question here that I see from Scheveningen for now. Or okay, in fact, one question that I see. If I've skipped some other ones, please ask again. But first question here from the stream. We will get onto the questions posted on Reddit soon, but for now, we'll address these ones here. Question for Tal. Is there, from Funslayer1, is there more respect for a youth grandmaster or an adult grandmaster? Do you believe the prodigy title is overused in chess?
Well, when I heard this title I start from the second question. So about the prodigy title, I heard it only in relation to people like Carlsen and Karyakin and other people at the top who achieved grandmaster at a very young age. I'm not sure if anyone used it for people who are below 2700 or so these days, but I haven't heard it too much. Regarding the first question about the young grandmaster versus an old grandmaster, it's not a question of showing respect to grandmasters as much as it is having general respect for chess and some chess culture in a country. So normally speaking, if an average person who doesn't know how to play chess would appreciate someone who's good at chess, then in the same kind of culture, a strong player would appreciate the grandmaster more. And regarding the age, I can't say that I've sensed too much respect, and I don't expect anyone to treat me any differently than anyone else. I don't feel like I'm better than anyone, so that's just my take on it. Just respect is not something that is being given to young grandmasters too much. As far as old grandmasters, I have to reach there to experience it. I don't really know.
Okay, very good. And a question from Scheveningen. He says, a question to both of you. Starting at about 1900 and going in increments of 100 points up until about 2500, what do you think are the main differences between players, and how did you improve from 2000 up to IM or GM level? So let's maybe break that down into something like...
Break it to two different questions.
Yeah, let's say, okay, for example, what do you think, Tal, is the difference between players who are about 2200, maybe 2200, and say international master level, like myself, 2417, or, and then between that gap, and then the gap between somebody like myself and a GM like yourself at 25, just over 2550 is his rating.
Yes, so basically, when it comes to difference in strength between players, my answer is kind of disappointing because I've heard many opinions. Some people say it's their ability to defend bad positions, the ability to convert good positions, tactics, openings, endgames, many different types of strengths and weaknesses that are related to the game. But, I mean, logically speaking, the difference between any level to a higher level in chess, if we're not talking about complete beginners or the absolute top, is just the amount of mistakes that people make and the actual scale of these mistakes. So, generally speaking, someone who's 2200 is already able to play chess quite well. And there's not much of a difference between him and an international master and a grandmaster. But in practice, as far as I experienced, they tend to make more mistakes over a large amount of moves. And there are many reasons for it, but that's the mathematical difference as far as I could tell. So the amount of mistakes and the level of how big they are.
So you don't think that there's any special difference between the difference between a 2100, 2200 player and a 2003, 24, 25? It's just a matter of the frequency and degree of mistake.
Yeah, There might be, but I think it's pretty individual because some players at 2000 are very strong at tactics, even compared to IMs. I've seen some of them, and they might be having problems with what we call positional chess. Some people have problems with opening and get lost positions and are not capable of developing against players of their caliber. And I've seen different scales of problems, and generally speaking, around 2400 level, the general level of the players in all the different fields is already quite decent. So there could be some weaknesses here and there, but they're relatively small compared to lower levels. So I feel like when you search for something in common between all of them, when you take all the people, then generally it's just the amount of mistakes. And obviously it's an individual thing. So I haven't been a coach for this level, so I can't really tell. And one more thing I can add is that I experienced myself throughout my life as a 2000 player, as a 2200 player and a 2400 player. And I know that when I was a 2000 player, I was capable of playing amazing chess every now and then. And when I was 2400, I was capable of playing terrible chess as well. So I can't say there was a major difference in my mental strength or the actual skills that I had. Just the general amount of mistakes.
Yeah, I would, on my end, I would agree with that. No, I would agree with that, Tal. I think, a lot of the time I hear this question asked as if like there's some kind of, like secret answer or magic kind of formula. And that's really not the case. For me, it's just kind of a matter of degrees. Everybody makes mistakes, but someone like Magnus Carlsen, the frequency and the kind of mistake he makes, they're usually much more subtle, much more like nuanced and difficult to really appreciate. At the highest levels, at the lowest levels, you see, people are dropping pieces left, right, and center. At the international master level, like me, I'm making a certain kind of mistake, and most players will not even spot the type of mistakes that I'm making. But the strong grandmasters, and especially the strong grandmasters, will see them, will understand them, and will punish them. And there's this element where their level of knowledge is just that bit higher, that bit deeper. And then on top of that, their competitive qualities tend to be better. For me, if I had to add anything to what your answer, Tal, I would say the one thing that I have noticed with grandmasters is that they're very resilient. They're really, like, they do not give up. And it is so much more difficult. If I have like an edge, if I have +1 against a GM or +1.2, whatever, against an IM, I find that so much of the time they break under that pressure. But when I'm facing a strong GM or even any GM, they are really difficult to finish off. This is my opinion.
So if I may add, it's a different way of saying that they just make more mistakes.
yeah, basically. But I think it's also, to an extent I agree, but I also think there's an element of psychology there. I think the psychologically grandmasters are generally stronger than international masters.
Yeah, okay, but I can't say there's one major difference, that if you work on it, you might become a grandmaster or an international master much faster. There's no secret formula as far as I can tell. Just constantly working on improving your chess on many different areas. And,
so was there anything, Tal, that you did that, like, with your chess study, is there anything, I remember, to give you an example, I remember certain books that I read, and when I read it, it was like, it really took me to a higher level of understanding. Is there anything that you did, any people that you worked with, or I give you an example. My friend Gawain Jones, I'm sure you know. So Gawain Jones, he said one of the things that he did that helped him a lot. For those of you who don't know, Gawain Jones is one of the UK's top grandmasters. He's rated about 2,650 and very close to the top 100 in the world. And Gawain said to me that one of the things that helped him a lot was he read all of the Garry Kasparov books, My Great Predecessors, and he would just read them like in bed. He would just read them without a board or anything, just read them in his head. And he said that going from start to finish with this series was very helpful. Do you have any similar episode?
Well, as far as books are concerned, I can't say that certain series of books made a difference. I read books throughout my career just for fun. I didn't consider it as part of my training, and I'm sure it helped. And I felt like at some point in my life, when I was like about 14, I realized that I'm capable of playing really good chess if I really put my mind to it. And I can't really point out the moment that it happened, but it definitely wasn't because of a book. It was probably just when I realized that some of the much stronger players are also humans, and that basically I'm not uniquely talented. It's just that everyone has with them, if they're at least intelligent enough, let's say, they have basic amount of intelligence, they are capable with the right approach to actually improve themselves through hard work and passion for the game.
So do you believe, Tal, that, there's this famous case, of course, of the Polgar sisters. And for those of you who don't know, everybody, I think most people are aware of Judith Polgar, but some of you may not be aware, Judith Polgar being the strongest female chess player of all time. Now, the Chinese Grandmaster Hao Yifan maybe can challenge for this because she's very young. But Judith was back in her prime top 10 player in the world, full stop, no gender difference there. And she even beat Kasparov, I believe. But the thing about Judith Polgar, she had two sisters, Sofia and Susa Polgar. And both of them, I believe Susa became a grandmaster and Sofia an international master. Mm-hmm. And I have heard before that their father was very, very focused on chess, and he really cared a lot, and he taught them systematically. He was a very, very good coach from a young age, and they all became title players. And apparently, I don't know how true this is, but I heard that he said if he had had a son, he would have, if God had given him a son, he would have produced a world champion. I don't know.
I heard a different saying that's a bit less controversial about him. I can't really take responsibility for quoting it, but I heard that he said that geniuses aren't born, they can be made, something like this. That you can create a genius and not necessarily have a fluke when they are born. So if you take someone from a young age and you feed them with the right approach and the right information, then they can actually become really good at more or less anything if there are no real physical limitations.
So Tal, do you believe the cliche? How much of the cliche do you believe that people who are very, very good at chess are in general very smart? I mean, do you think that there is a strong relationship between intelligence and good chess?
Am I one of these people? I mean,
you tell us,
good at chess? I can't tell. I mean, am I considered to be good at chess?
Yeah, we will say anybody who is, let's say, maybe like titled players from FIDE Master onwards.
So if I'm included in this category, then definitely it doesn't mean that they have to be very smart. So that's for sure. I mean, people can be... There is potential. I would say that over a large scale of people, there's more potential to find people who are very incredibly smart in different fields if they are also very good at chess. But it's also possible to be just good at the specific pattern recognition and different type of skill set that you need in order to be a good chess player. But generally speaking, there's a little bit more potential, but not as much as people would give credit for chess.
Okay, yeah. On my end, I'm inclined to. I definitely agree with your take on it. So, very quick question from a couple of people about how they enjoyed your streams on Lead Chess, but they notice you're not streaming so regularly there. Why is that, Tal?
Why is that? I don't know. I wish I could tell. Basically, so I will add something to the first question you asked about my channel and generally what motivated me to do it. So I'll say something about my approach with the channel. I've seen that many people who have YouTube channels are also coaching, and they're also generally not only private coaching outside of their videos and content that they produce on YouTube. They also actually during the videos they explain chess on a very basic level to beginners and so on, and they focus on the viewers. And I think it's a very good thing, but as far as I'm concerned, my focus throughout this past 4 months was on myself and my own fun and my own improvement. So I take the general things that I find more interesting at the exact moment, and I just do it, and I pretend there is no channel around me, and there is no one watching almost, and I feel like more relaxed this way, and I also don't try to please anyone. I'm just having fun and sometimes improving from the process. So I believe these Blitz sessions, where I actually take the opening seriously, is helping me improve. And so same thing when it comes to my, let's say, analyzing my own games, which I'll do soon enough. The bullet on Lead Chess, for example, is less helpful for my improvement, but in some situations I feel very motivated or tempted to enter one of those tournaments. And obviously, if I already damage myself, so to speak, I might as well just stream it and have fun. And this is why, more or less, I didn't do it very regularly. And I'm not intending to, and I just want to keep posting videos that are fun for me. And I hope that the viewers will find it amusing as well. And obviously I'll change it if there is a problem, but the focus is mainly aimed to be on my own experience.
Have you had much demand out of interest from people? Have many people contacted you and said, can you make more basic stuff, or can you make opening theory?
All the time, every single video, it feels like every day I'm getting new suggestions and advice from the viewers. It feels more like requests, and they ask, do more of this, do more of that. You don't do enough of the live streams. You don't do enough of these streams. But yeah, I haven't tried to please anyone, as I mentioned. And anyone who likes the content can watch it. And if someone finds it less, let's call it less attractive for them, they're not forced to watch. And regarding your question, remind me again.
No, it was just this question about the content, if people want more basic stuff.
So what people ask me, if I should do more basic stuff. People ask me to do more, let's say, explaining some basic things or lessons about chess. But I could do those things. I believe I have at least people told me I have the potential to be a good teacher. But for the moment, I don't think explaining the basics will actually improve my own chess. So I'm trying to focus only on things that will keep me focused on my goals, at least on a certain level, that are related to my chess improvement and rating and so on.
Okay. And another question is, okay, well, this is a little bit. Yusevic asks, the best chess player of all time, and then he gives you two options, Kasparov or Fischer. Do you agree that one of those is the best chess player of all time? Or do you think the comparison maybe is not even fair?
It's not fair at all, and yeah, I like certain players more than others among those in question, but I can't really say, and I think it's extremely subjective. So, but on paper, there are ways to measure it. I'm not aware of them, so I can't really give an educated answer.
Do you have a personal favorite chess player?
Well, I remember someone was asked this question in one of the Sinkfield events, and I remember that or was it another FIDE top event, and the interviewee, he mentioned that one should always favor his own story. And I like this approach. I can't say that I'm my own favorite player, but I'll definitely would like it to be this way. But if let's just assume for the moment that I can't choose myself, because otherwise I won't have this particular issue with the above mentioned advice. So another player that I like very much, again, a disappointing answer, it's just going to be Magnus Carlsen. I absolutely admire his games, and I follow each and every one of them, even his Blitz games, with a lot of interest.
Yeah, he's he's a really truly incredible chess player, and I'm the same. I mean, there are some tournaments like the Sinkfield Cup I have not been following so closely, but any game that Magnus Carlsen plays, I think really that the world, the chess world, is watching. And did you catch any of his this match? Did you catch much of him playing a stop tryharding in the ICC Open? This one where he played against.
I actually watched the entire finals that he played. I actually digged on YouTube and wrote stop tryharding and searched for all the possible games, and I saw some people recorded or even commented on his games. I believe you even did.
Yeah. This is true.
Yeah, and I actually watched all the games I could find, and I'm not sure if it helped my improvement, but it was definitely a lot of fun, and I'm amazed by the amount of objectivity and the level that he produced even in those Blitz games.
It's really incredible, but his game, this crucial game, the last game against with White against Grishuk, where the winner would progress to the final. This was an insane game. You remember this?
Yeah. That was actually the main situation where he wasn't objective, I have to say. But who can blame him after being a piece up? For those who don't know, he was the full piece up after the opening, and somehow things didn't go his way, and Carlsen, who was a piece up against Grishuk, somehow found himself in a bit of trouble, and allowed Grishuk to come close to equality. And then instead of taking the draw or play objectively, he tried to win, you can say by force, or force the win, and found himself in trouble and actually lost from a position with a piece up. That doesn't happen very often for the world champion.
It really incredible, and it says a lot about Grishuk and his...
Yeah. It says more about Grishuk than it does about Magnus.
Yeah, the way, for me, like that game, the way that Grishuk kept his chances alive were just incredible. The way he kept on putting resistance against the world's strongest player, it's just amazing. Because I think some viewers maybe are not fully aware, appreciate this point, but when you have that worst position, that losing position, you're down a piece, it's like so much more effort to make sure that you avoid lines where there is simplification, or avoid lines where, you know, any tactic will, anything will just crush you, right? And so to play that position in a must not lose situation, and to play it as well as Grishuk did, it's amazing. And actually some very good videos came out of it. I was recording that so live. I was streaming it live. You can find it on my channel. And I know also there were a few other streamers who recorded it. I know Chessbra recorded it, and I watched. You know, I literally just went on to Chessbra's video, and I wanted to see. I think Eric Hansen was with I think with the guy they call Dr. Usidik, Elias Usidik, I believe. And the two of them are just like watching, and Eric is just kind of like calmly explaining, like others would, calmly explaining how lost Grishuk is, and how he's pointing out, and so this is Carlsen will now win in this way, right?
Yeah.
And of course,
Grishuk keeps finding moves.
Exactly. And then there's this shock. Everybody is just in shock at what happened. So, next question. So guys, check that out. I think it's a really awesome game. So, Druid Pack 45 asks the question: what would you recommend for a beginner? So I'm guessing, how would you recommend that a beginner will? Okay, I think a beginner just needs to learn the rules and etc. etc. But let's imagine somebody is rated 1,200.
Yeah.
And this person wants to go from 1,200 to maybe 1,800. What would you advise?
Well, first of all, there are people who can help with private lessons, but assuming the person wants to improve himself, the first and most basic advice that I give, even to strong players who are at Grandmaster level, is to play more. You can't really play enough chess. It's not. I don't think it's possible. And obviously, if you play online, as I posted in one of my videos recently, that was titled "Don't Copy Other YouTubers." Don't copy YouTubers is that if you play online, you can improve by playing Blitz and so on, but I think that the best thing is to actually focus on the longer time controls, as was mentioned by Bartholomew in his original video, which I copied. So basically, it was the idea is very simple. Just play longer time controls, 15 minutes at least for the entire game, preferably with increment of 5 or 10 seconds per move, and just play and try to figure out what were your mistakes after the game. If you have a friend who is better than you, you can ask him to go through the game with you. And if not, I think it's very recommended to look at it with someone who is more professional, who can give you a lesson. And I think playing is the most important part. And obviously, tactics. So I feel like people can improve their tactics from the games, but if someone doesn't have enough patience to play 15 minutes games, or don't have enough time because he has to leave in 10 minutes or so, it's any tactic trainer. It could be on Chess Tempo, on chess.com, and there are many softwares out there on Chess24. Any tactics trainer will do, and also solving tactics from chess books is on the board can be a good idea.
One thing that I think is quite interesting now that you're talking about how a beginner or a beginning player can improve is the question of, you're 2,550, but in the long run, of course, you're very young, and I expect you have certain ambitions about where to go. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so if you asked me, let's say about a month and a week ago, what are my goals in chess? It was the same day where they called me and the federation invited me to play the Olympiad. I would say I want to increase my rating and reach the top 100 so that I can guarantee my spot in the Israeli team. So to cross 2650 and stabilize myself somewhere above this rating. And I'm assuming that once I get there, I will have higher goals. I've always been very ambitious, and I don't see why it should change at any moment. But for now, I don't want to set a goal that might be too frustrating in case I have bad results. So I'm trying to be realistic and focus on 2650 as my current number to cross. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to take a few years if I even manage to do it.
Do you read many chess books?
Not anymore, I have to admit, but I wouldn't take credit for it. I mean, I don't think it's a positive thing. I should read more books and solve more exercises with the board. But as I mentioned in the video where I talked about not to copy YouTubers, generally speaking, my advice to people is do as I say, not as I do. Because I don't set a very good role model as to how beginners or any players below 2300 should improve. And I think that, generally speaking, at my level, openings are the most important thing, but it's not the best example for people who are rated, let's say, below 2200. It might be useful, but it's definitely not the fastest way and the most efficient way to improve in the long run. So, yeah, I feel like I should read more books, but I can't seem to find the patience for it.
And if you did read, because yeah, this is what I was the reason I asked you is because I wonder how you feel is the best way for you to go from such a high level of 2550 to 2650 to take that leap. And my question is, if you did read books, which books would you be dedicating time to?
So a book that I did read quite extensively was Gelfand's book, Positional Chess Understanding, or something like this was the title.
Yeah.
Understanding Positional Chess. I don't remember the exact title, but it was written with Jacob Aagaard and was published by Quality Chess. And just about like 2 weeks ago, the second book came out. So I'm intending to purchase this book the first chance I get and read it. I really admire Gelfand's approach to the game. And since I was very young, he was my hero as far as chess ambitions are concerned. So regarding reading other books, well, I don't have any other books on my list for now. I read Dvoretsky's Endgame Manual twice already, went through all the diagrams and so on, and I'm intending to go through the 4th edition for the 3rd time, let's say, to go through the entire book, just to refresh my understanding of the general basic endgames. But yeah, I guess it's going to take time until I do it again.
Have you, you mentioned that you really admire Boris Gelfand. Have you had the opportunity to interact much with him in real life?
Well, I wouldn't say much, but since I was very young, I've been, let's say since I was around 15 years old, I've been in tournaments where he also participated inside Israel, some rapid events or some other events that were related to leagues and so on. And every time, and I have to mention that I also played in the same club with Boris, and I was really surprised to know that even when I was barely an international master, he still knew my name and knew who I was. And I don't remember exactly when, but when I was about 2450 or so, he just came to me in one tournament and shook my hand and asked me, "Tal, how are you?" or something like this. And well, I think people already know and heard that Boris is one of the most humble and nice people there are among the chess elite. And without saying anything bad about anyone else, it's just that that Boris is just a very unique. Has a very unique personality that is rare nowadays. So, yeah, I've interacted with him, but only on a, let's say, hello, how are you basis.
Okay, but this is a really, really nice touch, the way that he came and shook your hand. And
Yeah, he was extremely surprised that he even knew my name and who I was, despite the fact that we never interacted, and I don't believe my games were published anywhere. So, yeah,
it's amazing to me how the top guys, they're so professional. I mean, I have a couple of somewhat similar stories. I remember one time I played against Peter Spidler, and he had come over in. I played against him twice. One time was at the Olympiad, so it was a very serious game. But the other time, the first time was against was he was in Ireland with his visiting with his family, and he had come to Ireland just to kind of enjoy a few days there and also play one famous weekend tournament. But it doesn't count for FIDE rating or anything.
Yeah.
So all that he was really playing for was pride, and of course a little bit of money, but it's nothing major for somebody like Spidler. The prize fund is very insignificant. So anyway, the way that we do tournaments in Ireland is we play one game on Friday, 3 games on Saturday, and 2 games on Sunday. So we cram it all into one weekend. It's too much, but this way people can work and play, right? So our game was the final game on Sunday. It was the last round of the tournament, and they announced the pairings, and then all we had was 1 hour to in between the games, in between the end of the last round and the start of the second one, the final. And during this hour, everybody goes to eat lunch, and on top of that, there was a big rugby game going on. So everybody, myself included, was just watching the rugby and enjoying their food, their lunch. And then, of course, I get there and I play against Spidler. And he beats me, okay. And then afterwards, Spidler, by the way, is one of the nicest guys I've ever met in the chess world, or just in general. Really nice guy.
Yeah, I can attest to it as well.
Yeah, there you go. So, and really laid back, really humble, really inquisitive, really kind of interesting person to hang out with. Not that I've ever really hung out with, but I had the luck to be able to analyze with him for about an hour, which was really not so much analysis, it was him showing me everything he had seen and me just kind of learning. And so this guy, afterwards, Spidler says to me, hey, you know, after the game, he says, hey man, you know, it was really difficult preparing against you. And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean preparing? He goes, well, yeah, I mean, after the round had finished, I grabbed a sandwich in the shop, and then I went to my room and I spent the hour break looking over your games in the database. Right? And I thought to myself, this is so amazing. This guy, he's not playing for FIDE rating. He's not playing for anything. He's almost certainly going to crush me. But the guy is so professional that he will take his lunch break while he's on holidays with his family to prepare for somebody who he can beat very easily. And I realized then it's this attitude that keeps him at the top. At least for me, this was a significant event. And I think that it's connected in the sense that the top guys, you know, another example is Shirov was aware of who I was because of the fact that I was kind of have some Spanish roots and he was living in Spain a long time. So he knew anybody who could move the pieces in Spain, he was aware of. It's amazing the level of dedication that they bring. So, Tal, what is your opinion on the perk defense playing black? What are major mistakes made using the perk? And what's
we have a board next to our faces, to our cameras over here.
Yeah.
Let's start to use it finally. So, I believe I can move the pieces. So, the perk defense, I like to call it the Pearts, is e4, d6, d4.
Tal, I'm going to be right back, okay?
No problem. So knight f6, knight c3, and this is usually referred to as the Pearts. And these days, most people play here the move e5, which transposes to a different opening. But generally speaking, the Pearts is the classical Pearts arises after g6. And I've heard people refer to it as Pearts of Nimzo. And there are many different lines here. So I just have to mention that as far as my general opinion is concerned, it feels a bit less reliable than the other main openings. So compared to Sicilian and let's say Sicilian openings and 1e5 variations, Caro-Kann French and so on, the Pearts feels a little bit less reliable. I can't really give a specific variation to win against the Pearts, But for example, I myself like to play F4, which is considered to be the most principled approach, and it's called the Austrian attack, if I'm not wrong. And now after Bishop G7 and some theoretical moves, we arise a position. Let's give an example. So the main line here normally follows these moves, and these positions in general I believe to be slightly better for white. And most players who play the periods against me enter these positions. There are different types of fashionable lines earlier on, such as c5 in this position, or let's say knight c6 in this position, which might be a bit more challenging to a degree. But generally speaking, as far as my own findings are concerned, I like my chances against the periods. I'm very pleased every time someone is playing 1d6 or 1g6 against me. So, and obviously, practical point of view, if someone wants to play this opening, other than giving up the center, generally they allow many different types of setups because the position is very flexible for white. So white can choose different ways to develop his pieces, and black has to be aware of a lot of different variations. And I also say something positive about the opening because it's not all bad. It's considered to be one of the best openings to play against low-rated opponents because white doesn't have any forced way to equalize or to kill the game, so to speak. So I haven't played it myself, but I was definitely planning in some situations to play 1d6 or 1g6 against highly low-rated opponents where I didn't want to allow a lot of theoretical play which might reduce my winning chances. So I hope the answer is not too disappointing and that you'll still enjoy playing the periods in case you have.
He also had a second aspect to his question, which was what's your own favorite opening as black?
Well, I can't really say because, okay, black, I know as white which opening I prefer, but as black, well, I like all my openings, and I dislike the openings that I don't play, otherwise I would have played them. And the personal favorite is hard for me to mention. I mean, I'm trying to think of something that I really like, but well, it comes and goes for me in different phases of passion towards certain openings. So these days, for example, an opening I really enjoy playing and have been fascinated by as black is the French defense. E4, E6 normally arises after these two moves, and the French defense for me is a recent passion that I'm just, every time I research something about this opening for either color, I'm just amazed by how complex and rich the positions are. So I would say this is my current passion when it comes to openings with black.
What is, in your opinion, the best book written on the French defense at the moment?
Well, I've seen almost all the books I could find. Like three books I can just mention, even four, are by Emmanuel Berg from Grandmaster Preparation Series by Quality Chess. I remember Nikita Vitugov writing a great book on the French. I don't remember what was the publication. Maybe Chess Stars.
Yeah.
I remember something by John Watson, a book by Simon Williams, and I'm sure there are many more out there. And the main question when it comes to a good book, when I'm concerned, is what are the standards that the author is setting? So does he when he encounters a problem, does he work as hard as he can to solve it, as if he's preparing for his own game against a 2700 player, or is he just cutting himself some slack because the readers are not very high rated? So I won't say anything negative about any one of those authors or anyone else. I can't really testify for any of it, but I would say that I was impressed by Berg's and Vitukov's book on the French. I found many different interesting ideas there and good explanations of different positions and concepts. I didn't read the entirety of both of these books, but from what I have seen, it was quite a decent level. And while it's not very up to 2700 level standards, it's probably good enough until the 2450 rating. And I wouldn't rely on books when it comes to my own opening preparation.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Even though you say this as an Israeli, and I believe Boris Avrukh, I think, has written the two books that are some of the most respected books on openings. I believe maybe even 4 books, because he wrote
even much more. I believe he wrote 2 about the Grunfeld, 2 about the Catalan, now an update about the Catalan. He wrote 1 about sidelines, and another one, I think. But basically, what I can say about Boris Avrukh's books is that before he wrote them, I didn't even bother opening any opening books, and he was kind of the pioneer, as far as I could see, of a new age of opening books and the new standards that were presented to the viewers of how well analysis should be presented in opening books. I remember when he wrote his first D4 book for White, I read many chapters from it, and I actually started playing 1D4 myself after being an E4 player for my entire life. So I read the D4 books and relied on his recommendations in some basic lines I was afraid of, and it really helped me. I was about 2400 back then, and these days, when I look at these books, I still feel nostalgic about them, and I'm impressed by the level, but and nothing personal with these books compared to others. Just generally, when I see books that are considered to be good on openings, I still manage to find a lot of holes in some critical variations, and I still haven't found a single book that was free of any mistakes that were relatively big by my standards. So I can't say that I'm such an opening specialist that I would write better books, but if I tried. But I feel like all those strong players who wrote the books could make more efforts to make them closer to perfection.
Okay.
And yeah, so I enjoy consulting, especially the Grandmaster Preparation Series, sometimes when I want to learn a new opening, but nothing managed to impress me to a degree where I can actually recommend a specific book for Grandmaster level.
Okay. Jim Quackenbush asks, what was the strangest moment that you faced playing over the board chess?
The strangest moment?
If you can answer this.
Can you rephrase it?
I mean, sometimes maybe some opponent has done something really strange, or I remember I played a game, for example, before where very unfortunately, very, very near my table, somebody just had a heart attack and died, and it was like that on the spot. Yeah. So. Well, that was strange.
I wouldn't call it so strange as much as it is frightening, but yeah, it's just. Did you recover from this event to this day?
Yeah. And of course, at the last Olympiad in Tromsø, this happened in like 2005 or something, but at the last Olympiad in Tromsø.
Yeah, the last day.
Yeah.
2 people have died.
Yeah, so I mean that I was there, and all of a sudden, because I was playing for the Irish team, and all of a sudden there's this something is going on, and yeah. We didn't know what it was. So some people thought it was a bomb and things like this, Wow. I remember one of my teammates. I remember he just like left, and afterwards I didn't see him, for a while, and it's like, hey man, where did you go? And I go, dude, I just went straight for the exit. I thought it was a bomb, and I just responded to him, Man, why didn't you tell me?
I remember a different story. I mean, I have a different version of it. I wasn't in that particular Olympiad. I was at home, but this kind of story reached the news nationwide. I mean, all over the world. Yeah, I remember that at the same day where the news was broadcast on Israel mentioning that 2 people died in the chess Olympiad, 3 or 4 friends of mine on Facebook who are completely unrelated immediately wrote me a private message asking me, "Are you okay? I heard that chess is a very dangerous sport. I hope you're fine." And yeah, it was quite... I had to reassure them that it's not like this all the time. Yeah.
But you don't have any specific like story or incident?
Story about, back to the question, about a strange experience in a chess game. So, I have a few things that come to mind, but I mean, nothing that would be worth mentioning as so strange. I can mention things that annoyed me about certain opponents without naming names that people did against me. So, yeah, one example is that when I was about 14 years old, I played under 14 European Championship. One of my opponents, I don't remember who it was, and I wouldn't mention it even if I did. So he wanted to offer draw, and he made a move. I was thinking for like 5 or 10 minutes, I can't remember. And while I'm thinking, he just immediately shouted, just screamed at me, "Draw!" and just reached his hand and just put his hand extremely close to my face. And didn't take it back for like 10 seconds, and people looked from all around the boards, looked at this scenario as if something happened, and the guy was still with his hand hanging, and I was just trying to ignore him, sitting like this, not looking at anything but the board, and I was just embarrassed by all the attention that was around us. So, and yeah, I went on to win this game.
Nice. It must have felt particularly good to win against this guy.
Yeah, but well, I wouldn't blame him of anything. I mean, it's just probably wasn't aware of the behavior of being strange. People were young back then. Maybe didn't gain a lot of experience in human behavior. So yeah, I have a few other experiences, but nothing was as extreme as this particular one.
Okay. So next question.
Yeah.
Do you follow any sports besides chess?
Well, I don't really follow anything. I can't even say I'm following chess that often. I mean, I see some top games, but I follow the games, not really the result, if they're relevant to my openings. So, generally speaking, and it's funny coming from me because I have a YouTube channel and you as well, but generally speaking, I enjoy active kind of, let's call it, I enjoy to be very, let's say, to participate in the activities that I'm taking place with. So, if I want to watch soccer, for example, then I would rather play soccer, and I have a group of friends where we play once a week, so I don't feel the need to ever watch because I just wait. I know it sounds silly for all those soccer fans out there, but since I was like 6 years old, when I saw my father watching some soccer game, I would just think to myself, why would you watch when you can just go out and play? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So since then, I've embraced this approach towards almost any type of sport, and well, passively watching stuff is not something I'm very pleased when I'm doing. So I'm trying to avoid it. I watch some series sometimes, but I would prefer to avoid it and just focus on my own chess.
Okay. We have another question about hold on. Yeah, we have another question. So a guy called Squishy Channel writes, what do you think about a 1900 to 2000 player trying to break to 22 or 2300? And what we'll say about that is we already talked about that earlier.
This question.
So check it out. Check out the stream. The archive will go up on Tal's channel, and also probably on my own channel, but definitely on Tal's. And I made a mistake. I wanted to link the viewers directly to Tal's channel, but I in the preparations I forgot to do so. So if somebody could please provide for the viewers the link to Tal's YouTube channel, for those of you who are unaware, if somebody could do that, I'd really appreciate that. So thank you for that. In the meantime, let's take the next question is from Shambobala, who I happen to personally know. So he asks the question. He's a Cork man. He asks the question. He says that he welcomes some thoughts on the Benko or the Scotch game. That's a little bit too general, but I do have a question for you. Perhaps you have some ideas, but I find in the Benko, against the Benko Gambit, as a d4 player, I find that just to accept the pawn and then play this line with e4 and let him take on f1, king takes g3, king g2, this line, I find that this is okay for white. I think actually he gets a really nice position, but the problem I've been having recently is the Perunovic variation, which is very popular. Do you have any opinion on this, or do you have any ideas of how to deal with the Perunovic variation?
Well, I have analyzed this variation, but this is more or less something I would refer to as cutting-edge theory, and my conclusions are something I would like to actually play over the board if I get the chance. So, saying which line I actually would recommend. Normally I don't mind revealing my analysis in my Blitz games. I'm playing my real openings all the time. I don't fool around. So if I happen to play against this line at some point, and I decide to actually take the pawn on a6, then maybe the viewers will be lucky enough to see, or just... Could you put the board? Yeah, I can show what variation it is. But
exactly. Just so that people know what the Perunovic variation is.
So basically, this position is referred to as the Benko Gambit or the Volga Gambit, and the common approach is to accept the Gambit, to take here and take on a6, and instead of bishop takes a6, which was considered to be the main move.
So can you show very quickly what the line is that black seems to be struggling after bishop takes a6? This line with
bishop takes a6 is, let's call it the traditional main line.
Yeah.
And now let's for example give this move order. So knight f3, g6, e4, bishop takes f1, king takes f1, and g3, castles, king g2. I'm not sure about black's most accurate move order, but in this particular position, it's considered that white is fighting for advantage and is probably achieving it by computer standards. But when it comes to computer analysis, black has failed to prove equality. And I believe, I don't want to mislead the viewers, but I believe it was some a4 related move at this point or something. I can't really say for sure.
I think it's before queen e2, but I'm not 100%.
Yeah, I have it written down, and I'm not 100% sure. But this line is considered to be one of the most convincing ways to play against the Benko as far as objective chess is concerned.
Yeah.
And actually, this is one of the lines I consider to play with white if someone plays the traditional main line, so I'm kind of disappointed that I'm not 100% sure. But as far as my recommendation is concerned, before that I'll first mention the Perunovic line. So let's say that instead of bishop takes a6, black is delaying the recapture of the pawn. And here in this particular position, after let's say e4 castles, So for example, if white goes knight f3, the idea is to go queen a5 first, and threatening knight takes e4, and trying to pose some problems for white. So for example, if white plays the natural looking bishop d3, which was played in one of the first games in this line between Gelfand and Carlsen, in some Blitz tournament, I believe, or Rapid, I don't remember.
Yeah.
So Gelfand fell for this trap of knight takes d5, and then Carlsen managed to get an advantage with black, actually, in this particular variation, because the rook on a1 is hanging, and if you go bishop d2 to protect it with the queen, then this bishop is falling, like this. So I feel like this variation is quite probably the most trendy line, like the question implies. And well, there are different approaches to try to play against it, and I believe that there is a way, there should be a way to actually get an advantage. But yeah, that's all I can say about it for now. So I hope you're not too disappointed. And as far as my recommendation goes for the viewers and myself when it comes to playing without immediate preparation, because obviously there are a lot of concrete details in the actual gambit itself. This move, knight f3, followed by c takes b5 and b6, is a very interesting line to try and let's call it depress the players of the Banker Gambit, because normally they like to get an active position with the initiative despite having a pawn down, and in this particular variation they managed to recover the pawn, but I feel like black is having a slightly inferior position when space is considered. So I enjoy playing it even in my own classical games, and I can highly recommend this particular move order. And in one of my videos I also mentioned why I start with knight f3 and not c takes b5. So I feel like this is already well known, so I won't bother to go through all the details right now. So
okay.
yeah, the Banker Gambit, and generally speaking, when it's possible to actually get a positional edge and not take the material, that's my preferred approach with all gambits with both colors.
Oh wow, that's interesting, because there is an international master, Sam Collins from Ireland. Maybe you know about him. Mm-hmm. He, I think he wrote a book called something. Of course, it's geared more towards club players and things like this. But he wrote a book called "Take the Gambits and Win," something like this. And in general, if I had to say my own general approach to gambits, especially when white is gambiting a pawn, I try to take it, because I feel like most of the time as black, if you accept the pawn, white can get compensation. If black takes the pawn and plays well, white will at best only have compensation. And if he's not careful, he will just end up a pawn down. And I like to play that, but you have the different approach.
Well, when I mean not take the pawn, I speak about playing against other grandmasters who normally play sound gambits. So, and I'm assuming that I have a choice between taking the pawn and having an objectively equal position where I'm pawn up, or not taking the pawn and having an objectively equal position. So generally speaking, I prefer, and this is just my taste for how to play chess, I prefer to have a pawn down if the position is equal, than having a pawn up and be under pressure.
Okay.
So I would try to maintain some objectivity. So if I can take the pawn and have a better position, I would rather to have that than just cut some slack to my opponent and not do my best to win. So I'll give an example, just to prove to demonstrate my point. So one of the gambits that I encounter online with black is that the Mora gambit, I believe it's called, yeah? D4 here against the Sicilian. There is another word that is usually something Mora.
Smith Mora gambit, I think.
Yeah, the Smith Mora gambit. So normally speaking, the players play c3 in this position. And as far as I can tell, black is not significantly better if he captures back here.
Yeah.
So, and my main line with black against the move c3 which is referred to as the Alapin variation of the Sicilian, is knight f6. So when I'm playing Blitz online and someone plays d4 followed by c3, I enjoy playing knight f6. And I feel like I'm outsmarting them in a way, because I was already willing to enter this position anyway, but obviously my opponent wasn't necessarily intending to enter this line, because he would have started with c3 first had he wanted to. So this is my general idea of avoiding gambits when it comes to practical chess. So I believe there is a bit of a problem with the stream. Can anyone hear me still? Well, I can read out some questions, but I'm not sure if the stream is still working. So, well, Alex might face some internet problems or something. That's great. No, he's here.
Sorry,
went for a moment. So, this, I hope everyone understood the example in the Sicilian. And, yeah, and generally speaking, accepting gambits when they are not so good is a great thing. So another example would be this, c4 and move 2. So if I'm playing white and someone is playing this move, e5, which is normally referred to as the Budapest gambit, I play d takes e5, and if they go knight e4, then I don't mind staying a pawn up and playing the main move a3. Or maybe it was after knight f3, knight c6, so a3 is considered to be the main approach, and in this particular case, black normally doesn't get the pawn back, and I wouldn't mind having an edge. But in the Benko, it's quite controversial of how big white's advantage is. So, generally speaking, I prefer to have a small positional edge with no material advantage than having a material advantage while my opponent has some initiative.
Okay, so thanks for explaining your views there in more detail. A question that kind of relates to this comment you made about how you don't want to show this particular Perunovic variation analysis, which is very understandable because maybe not all viewers realize, but you're a chess professional and your focus is playing tournament chess, and in tournament chess your own home preparation and your novelty, this is time, this is money, this is really something that you have to be very protective about as a top professional. And that's why you even see in the world matches and things like this, you see they go to great lengths so that they don't even know who is helping who, things like this. But a guy called Cyan Riddle wrote on Reddit. He said, "Here's a question for Tal that I've been thinking about. Do you ever worry that your over-the-board opponents might browse your stream to help prepare against you? You seem pretty honest or candid about what openings and systems you like to play. So it does seem possible."
Yeah. So first I'll mention that I don't like to half-ass some things when I'm doing them. So if I do something, I would rather do it very well or not do it at all. I try to give my heart in any activity that I take place, that I take part in, and do my best to let's say meet my own standards, which are generally very high. So when it comes to my channel, it was clear to me from the beginning that I'm not going to fool around and play some random openings and just have fun in the name of being a clown and entertain everyone, or just play bullet. Not that there's anything bad with it, but I just thought that I want to set an example when it comes to openings of how to approach, without necessarily talking about it, but just demonstrating how I play the openings and how I'm not willing to compromise my principled approach even in Blitz. So my first concern when opening my channel was what will happen if someone will see my videos and use it to prepare against me? And that's a really good question, and it's a big concern of mine, but I feel calm. First of all, because I believe in my analysis. So in the best case, if I play according to my analysis and my opponent prepares well against it, there should be equality. Doesn't matter if I'm white or black, in general. So that's one thing that reassures me, and I'm expecting myself to know all my analysis at a given moment when I play professionally in tournaments. And the second thing is that if I'm assuming most of you have heard about ChessBase, and they have a very efficient way to index my openings and my actual games. And my opponents, I think, will be very busy with my already 500 published games on ChessBase and preparing against them. And the way that they can prepare for my videos is not going to be remotely efficient compared to ChessBase, because they have to scroll through every video of mine and watch for like 5 minutes to see one game. So I would love to, I invite every single opponent to just watch my videos and try to prepare like this. I feel like they would end up wasting more time than actually gaining knowledge about me. And also, it will add me some views, so who cares? I mean, doesn't matter for me as much as I'm not afraid of their preparation if it will take them more time than it will save them.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. Of course, I'm not at the same level as you. I'm, not really playing so much, but I agree that, look, we live in a world of ChessBase where, and every single one of your games, Tal, it's just available almost instantly or instantly. So people are not going to be wasting their time, as you say. Maybe it would be helpful, but it would not be a good investment of time. They could be doing more productive things with it. So I'm reading in the chat, the next question that I'm reading is actually there.
Before you read it, just one quick something I wanted to add about my opponents who might prepare for my videos. Also, in most tournaments I participated in, there was a very bad internet connection, so that might also add to the list of reasons why it wouldn't bother me, probably. So, back to you.
Okay. So Bakuz writes, maybe he can address the issue of the cheating allegations against him on chess.com, which I know was also one of the first questions that was asked in the Reddit thread that we made to announce this. Just the question on the Reddit was, hello, Mr. Astaneh, do you know that GM Tal Baron was, and this is verbatim, was banned for cheating by chess.com after winning 2 title Tuesdays on their site using engine assistance? So obviously, I'll leave it up to you to address this question.
Yeah, this is obviously a very important subject in chess, and well, I don't have anything smart to say other than I didn't cheat, and I'm just being I'm not sure even what's the term in English, but I'm just being punished for something that I didn't do by the public, and I managed to play quite well. I would say probably one of the, if not the best tournament I've ever played, was the first title Tuesday that I won back in August 1 year ago. And yeah, I don't have much to say about it, other than some people seem to be very convinced that in their approach to ruin my name and hunt me down. There is one guy who particularly addresses this topic in every place on the internet where my name is mentioned, and I find it very offensive. And what do you have to say about the topic before I go on mumbling about the topic of cheating in chess and false accusations and so on?
Well, the first thing I suppose I would have to say is I take issue with the way that the question is phrased. And I think that we need to clarify this first and foremost. I mean, So the question is phrased: do you know that GM on Reddit, not by Bakus on Twitch, but on Reddit, the question was phrased: do you know that GM Tal Baran was banned for cheating MyChess.com on their site using engine assistance? So, like, what I think is the first thing that really needs to be clarified here is my understanding of the situation is that you were never like banned on the basis of we know you cheated, we have definitive proof, now you're banned. This was not the case. I mean, to my knowledge, there was an accusation or there was a suspicion of cheating. But cheating in chess, I mean, there are some examples where it can be proven definitively, of course, but the majority of the time there is simply suspicion, and there are different degrees of suspicion. So I think like the first thing that we need to be 100% on board is to answer this question, because it seems directed at me. Hello, Mr. Astaneh. Is my answer to the question is I did not know that GM Tal Baran was banned for cheating, and I still don't know that GM Tal Baran was banned for cheating because he wasn't, right?
I don't know it either.
Right. It was not banned for cheating. You were never.
I was never accused of anything formally, and basically what happened is that I played a lot above my normal Blitz rating in that particular event. I started with 7 out of 7 and my performance skyrocketed, and there were approximately 1,700 viewers at the peak moment on this event, and many of them assumed, just on the basis of me playing above my level, that I'm doing something illegal, and I have nothing to say other than the fact that it's extremely offensive. And I remember that instead of being so happy and glad that I won the tournament in the actual best performance I've ever accomplished, I look back at this experience as a nightmare because of all the negative buzz around it, with approximately half of the viewers just mentioning and the accusations and writing very negative and insulting messages. And well, at some point it felt so personal that I assumed it was anti-Semitic or something. I don't want to go into this topic, but it's just something that I feel that there's no reason to hate me personally, and everyone is eligible for their opinion and can try to accuse, let's call it personally, and address the topic with the staff of the website or the tournament. And but generally speaking, accusing someone publicly is almost never achieving the goal that you guys are trying to achieve, because if someone does cheat, then it's not necessarily going to help, and because probably the staff or let's call it the organizers will accuse them anyway and figure it out. And in the more common case where people are being accused, when they don't cheat, it's just bluntly ruining their name for no reason, because most of the public, when they see someone being accused, the opinions divide. There's just no definite way to prove that someone was cheating or not. So the opinions will almost always divide in such cases, and you're just harming someone's name and his reputation. And I think that in case of innocent people, it's far more, I mean, it's not any better than the actual act itself. And I feel extremely offended. And this memory that was supposed to be probably one of the most pleasant in my life is something I don't want to look back to, because every time it just brings up all the hate that I received. And to this day, I have haters who follow me everywhere and try to ruin my name and just say harmful and insulting things.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, it's an issue that obviously I can tell from what you've spoken about that it's a very personal issue for you and something very kind of unfortunate. I mean, you're very young. I don't know exactly when this happened, but it's something that, you know, you kind of have to deal with. And in a sense, your time and your energy is being robbed by the fact that you're, you know, you're coming at this, like, as far as you're concerned, this is a completely absurd story. And then on the other hand, you have people who, as far as they're concerned, you're guilty and they're treating you as guilty. And I have a couple of points that I kind of want to say on it, just in general, on general grounds, and not so much specific to you. But the first thing is that in a situation where a player is accused of cheating, as Tal has just said, there's no definitive way. Most of the time, there's no way to be 100% sure, did he cheat or did he not? So if you find a player who may have cheated, most of the time, as an outsider like me, you have to do one of two things. You have to either assume that they're innocent and risk the possibility that they're guilty and you're letting them off the hook for something that they did, or you have to assume that they're guilty and risk the possibility that they're innocent. And for me, it's not even close. For me, in the case of uncertainty, the only thing that I'm certain of is that I'm going to assume the other person is innocent. Because basically, if I assume that they're innocent and I treat them as such, and it turns out that they're guilty, they screwed some people out of a few $100 or out of $1,000, out of whatever. They screwed some top players out of this amount of money, which is no joke, right? I'm not saying that this is like something minor or whatever. It's a big deal, but it's nothing compared with the consequence of branding somebody a cheater and it turns out that they're actually innocent. Because in this case, you're ruining the person's career, potentially. You're damaging their career, you're damaging their professional relationships, you're damaging their personal relationships. And this issue, and this takes me on to the other point. And so just to finish that point, you know, I will sleep easy at night treating you as innocent, Tal, and ultimately the only person in the world who can 100% be sure without any doubt on principle is the person in question. So, but I can sleep very, very easy knowing about this, what I believe to be I mean, microscopic possibility, right? But even if I felt it was 50-50, even if I somehow amazingly felt it's 50-50 chance that you cheated, or even if I felt it was 70 or 80% chance that you cheated, I would still be much, much more comfortable treating you as innocent, because I think that the consequence of being considered a cheater is so damaging. It's your career, it's your profession, it's your personal life in some ways, and it's your friendships and your relationships, your social relationships. And that's, I think, as you say, this takes us back to that point that you made, which is that accusations of cheating, when you don't have definite proof, are just as bad, if not worse, than the act of cheating itself. So that's my stance on it, and it's not a stance unique to you, Tal. It's just a stance that I would say if anybody found themselves in that situation. And the second aspect that I want to point out on this is that in this issue that was brought up about the cheating, the same poster who wrote it on Reddit said he wrote hold on a second. He wrote, I believe honest streamers, so he was presumably referring to me, shouldn't give free publicity to an online cheater, as cheating is causing a lot of damage to the game we love. Now, I agree that cheating does cause a lot of damage to the game we love, and I despise people who are cheating online, and unfortunately it's a very, very common occurrence. But I have a question to that, which is, where do we draw the line? I mean, I'm being discouraged from collaborating with Grandmaster Baron, so should other people be discouraged from, let's say, tournament organizers be discouraged from inviting him to tournaments? Should potential students, if he ever wants to become a coach, be discouraged from having a cheater as a coach? Where do we draw the line? Do we ostracize him completely? Does FIDE, do we get on the line to FIDE so that we can ban him from playing tournaments? I know that I'm kind of going on an extreme point, but my question really is, how am I not, how is there a possibility, an issue with me collaborating? Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm not collaborating with Grandmaster Tal Baran, who was accused of cheating X months ago, and it was never substantiated, and he was never banned on the official grounds of cheating, right? And I don't believe, judging by my knowledge of his character, I think it's incredibly unlikely that he would ever do such a thing. So I'm supposed to get caught up in that label. I'll tell you something, the label that I'm caught up in, if I want to attach one label to Tal is probably the highest rated Grandmaster. He's probably the highest rated YouTuber, regular. He makes daily videos for YouTube. I have my own YouTube channel. I know how much money gets made from a YouTube channel, and the amount is very, very close to zero. I mean, it's so insignificant how much money you make from a chess channel that it's almost a work, like a free contribution to the chess community. And I look at, if I associate Tal Baran within the chess community as being something within the online chess world, I associate him as somebody who produces this fantastic videos on a daily basis and makes this big contribution out of his time and energy, which he has his reasons he's already spoken about. But the bottom line is, as chess fans, we're all benefiting from that. And that's why I have GM Baran with me today, because of that tremendous contribution. And so I'm offended by the suggestion that I should not have him on the basis of some unfounded accusation that he may have cheated in some event, which I don't personally believe to boot. So that's my rant over. But I feel quite strongly about this. So anyway, back to you, Tal.
Yeah, I remember you told me once that you also had some experience with false accusations.
Yeah, I mean that's the other one. I was playing on ICC, and I was sent a message on ICC being told, this is your final warning. I had never received any previous warning, by the way, but this is your final warning. Our software has detected that you were cheating, and you better stop, otherwise we're going to shut down your account. And I responded, listen, I have never cheated in my life, so I don't care what your software says. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. And they responded to me and they say, okay, our apologies, it was probably a false positive, something to that effect. But that was it. I mean, it was a totally private matter that probably happened something like 8 years ago. But I do know, I brought it up with Tal because I know personally that there is this issue, that there is the possibility for false positives, and I'm aware of that. And the second thing is the specifics. What actually created so much suspicion is that Tal basically crushed the field in 2 tournaments, crushing the likes of Dmitry Andreevkin and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. But what we have to keep in mind is that while this is statistically unlikely, it is far from impossible. Because, to put it in perspective, I played the last title Tuesday that I played, I had a completely crushing position against Andreevkin and another completely crushing position against Meyer. Now, I messed them up. You can see it on one of my streams. I messed them up. But on a different day, I would have won both those games. That's happened before. I've played Magnus Carlsen 5 times on the ICC on his Stop Try Harding account, and the score is 3-2. So I've beaten Carlsen in a couple of games. Is that, I mean, okay, they were only bullet, but my point is that somehow like proof that I'm cheating? Because like my point is I beat the very, very best player in the world, right? And I've obtained also either draws or victories against multiple wins against Caruana, against Nakamura, against Andreikin, against Grishuk, you name it. And if I've played against them enough times, I've won occasional games. And that's not a brag specific to me. That's a claim specific to everyone, right? Everyone who is a kind of title player with a good mouse, you know, and a fast internet connection can win some Blitz games, because there's you know, that's just the nature of the game. And we cannot forget that Tal is a 2550 rated Grandmaster. I'm a 2400 IM. That's a huge leap. So if I can log these kind of results potentially, nothing quite as impressive as what Tal achieved in the Title Tuesdays, but if I can log those results, I know that there are Grandmasters who can achieve these outsider results from time to time. And as far as I'm concerned, I fully believe Tal, and he has my sympathies. You have my sympathies, Tal, because
thank you.
It's a really unpleasant situation to find yourself in, and to now having had to dedicate the last 15 or 20 minutes to this issue, and not the first time, but
probably not the last time. I'm sure this particular guy who hunts me in every single place where my name is mentioned is going to keep following me for the next, I don't know, years to come. In every place where I'll stream, he'll keep mentioning the questions and false facts about the situation that took place. And I just, there's nothing, I mean, it's really annoying, because if I say nothing and I just address positive issues, then ignoring the topic will make me look guilty. But if I address the topic, then I'm already wasting more energy every single time. So I feel like the topic is just a black hole, and there is nothing, I mean, everyone already knows and has their opinion already. There's no point in doing or saying anything, except probably assuming that this particular guy and other people who might be spreading hate online are not the most moral people ever created. That's just my take on it.
Okay. Well, I think anyway, on my end, I don't have anything additional to say, so if that's you, we can move on to the next question.
Yeah, I remember from Reddit, one person asked about the F3 Nimzo. And,
oh yeah, go for that, please.
Yeah, and I just mentioned that Nakamura beat Dingley Ren. While we were talking about this topic, I was actually watching the game. And, yeah, I mean, I talked about this topic with so many of my friends for a while, and like it's just like it feels like there is nothing new to say since maybe 10 months ago, and people keep talking about it every month or so. So yeah, I took the liberty to watch the game, and well, it's quite amazing. So what was the question? Can you read it for us?
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, it was a question by Zibit Videos, who's a FIDE master, and a lot of people will know him from just Reddit, and I think he's also semi-regularly on Lichess, if not regularly on Lichess. He said he was tuning in, so hopefully he's still with us. Questions about the 4 F3 Nimzo, and then he said, I'm intrigued by the line in general, perhaps an opinion about the status of the line for white after the 9 bishop g5 type lines, as in the famous Nakamura-Carlsen game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember this question.
And, sorry, Tal, I'm gonna be gone for a minute or two, so you take care of the show, okay?
So I'll just open the question over here so I can see it.
Sure.
In case I forget what I'm answering.
Sure.
So, okay, so we have the board here with us. So first of all, for anyone who doesn't know, there is one opening that I particularly like with white. It's called the F3 Nimzo Indian. This move, bishop b4 here, is a well-known opening, probably one of the most popular in history. The Nimzo Indian after Aron Nimzovich. And F3 on move 4 is one of the most fashionable lines. And there are not many fashionable lines in this variation after bishop b4. Most players, they go knight f3 or g3 here. So f3 is what I like to refer to as my pet line and my favorite line, probably out of all my openings with white. And I've had many fascinating games with it. And this particular game in question between Nakamura and Carlsen, I believe we started with the moves d5, Carlsen was black, a3, bishop e7, e4. This is one of the main lines of this line, and now bishop c5. I won't go through all the details, and I believe here Nakamura started with bishop g5, as far as I can remember. And, well, the verdict, according to my findings, is that in this particular variation, black should be fine, but he has to find a lot of accurate moves. And Carlsen didn't play the most precise way and found himself in a huge amount of trouble. And despite being completely lost for probably at least 10 moves, he managed to squeeze a win out of it in a very unbalanced middle game. And this is one of the most upsetting losses by Nakamura to Carlsen. And I highly sympathize because he both played my favorite opening and he was so close to winning, beating Carlsen for the 10th time. So first I'll congratulate Nakamura for winning with black against Carlsen about a month ago or even a bit less in the Grand Chess Tour, I believe. So let's have a quick, another main line here is knight f3 before bishop g5 and only after bishop g4, bishop g5 in here. There's also h3. I can't really say too many smart things about it, but there is potential for white to be better. And I highly like this type of structure when white has a huge grip at the center. So yeah, the F3 Nimzo I believe is just an amazing opening, and I would highly recommend it for anyone who wants to study something against this with white. So, and my videos probably can give quite a nice overlook of how white should play in different main lines. So let me see the question exactly so I don't miss some details. So
I think, sorry, by the way, sorry to interrupt you. I think that the stream may be lagging a little bit or something like this. Hopefully the issue will...
So if I'm showing the moves quite quickly, people might...
No, it's not on your end. It just has to do with my own, maybe the own connection. I'm not so sure, but hopefully it's okay. But for now, carry on.
Yeah. So I don't see any more details. I think I answered the question about the Carlsen Nakamura game.
Okay. So can I ask? Shall we move on to the next question?
Yeah.
We'll be taking. I'll try and take a few more questions, but not so much more because we still have the Blitz tournament. You're okay with that, even though we're going a little bit.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to make it a little bit shorter, but we will have time for at least 40 minutes of Blitz.
Okay, great. So we'll take just a couple more questions. I'll select this question here from Brandon. Brandon Runs, who's one of the moderators of my channel, and yeah, very good guy. So let's field this question. Can you share any funny or interesting experiences or stories that you've had with any of the super grandmasters?
I've seen this question, and I heard many funny stories, but I haven't actually experienced too many of them myself. I have one particular story where I wasn't there, but I think nobody heard about it before. And yeah, I can't really, I don't want to name the people from the story who were not the strong grandmasters, but let's say one of a person that I know was playing in some tournament where I hope I'm not wrong, but I believe it was Nigel Short, another player, maybe it was David Howell or someone, who were taking place in the same event, and this particular person was going down the elevator with them. So first time it happened, he didn't say anything and he remembered it. Then the second time it happened, he also didn't say anything to them. And I think it was the same day or the same 2 or 3 days where he went on the elevator with the same 2 people for the 3rd time, and he just came up to them and saying, third time ice cream. And they were staring at him, they didn't understand what he wanted. And I believe this story was is quite known among my friends. And yeah, I think it was very embarrassing for the person in question. And yeah, do you know about this famous phrase, third time ice cream?
No, but sorry, 1 second. Somebody is. Sorry.
It's just
okay.
Yeah, very silly wordplay.
That's pretty good. Sorry, I'm just I'm
Yeah.
unfortunately from time to time I kind of unfortunately tune out Tal so that I can check the chat. I'm not very professional right now, but I'm just seeing if there are any questions left before we organize the tournament.
Yeah. I was actually hoping to be asked about favorite memorable games and like some best combination, but seems that people are not very interested in those type of things. Or maybe they asked and too many other questions were also being posted. But
okay.
While we are being here, I'll show one very memorable game that I had when I was very young.
Sure.
Nobody also asked the regular questions of when you started to play and so on. But I guess people already know all these things. So when I was like, I don't even remember, 8 or 9 years old, I had a game after the teacher in that particular chess group taught us about Smothermate. For those who don't know, Smothermate, I'll just try to demonstrate a random position. So Smothermate is what you get, let's say, when you have, excuse me for all the random moves, but this particular position with the rook on g8 and the king over here on h8 and these three pieces like this, any random three pieces who don't cover f7, allowing a mate in one by the knight. This is referred to as a smother mate. So the teacher was teaching us about this idea, and I believe that I was the best student among all the 1200s who were listening at the time. I highly appreciated my understanding of the concept, and then we played a training game just in the second half of the lesson after he explained about it, and I had this following game against a fellow player from the group, and we started like this. I was white. I always started like this when I was a beginner, and he played bishop c5, knight takes f7. At this point, I wasn't even noticing that it was a fork. I just wanted to take the queen. He didn't notice as well. He castled. I played knight takes d8 check, king h8, and in this particular position, Alex, can you find the best move in the position?
Here for white or for black?
I played the best possible move in this particular position, implementing my knowledge and bringing the art to perfection.
As white?
Yeah.
Man, you're going to show me up here, you know, because all I'm seeing is that check on f7, but you know, you're telling me...
Yeah. So I'll relieve you from the amazing challenge. I played the obvious move, bishop to g8. Threatening nothing and inviting my opponent to take, which he immediately did happily, and I mated him.
Oh my god.
The teacher showed this game as an example of how not to give a smother mate. The entire class. So it was a nice experience.
Nice.
I'm still very proud of bishop g8 to this day. I think not many players would have found this idea.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, no, not certainly. Yeah, but maybe not the kind of idea you want to find in general. But
well, since then I've improved quite rapidly, so I don't know. Actually, not too rapidly, but yeah, it was nice.
For sure.
Maybe finding it was part of the process of my improvement.
Perhaps. Listen, Tal, I think the Q&A has been, at least for me, been very, very interesting. I've looked at the chat, and there's been all sorts. Some people have said great. Other people have said it was great, and now it's been going on for so long that I'm dying. Other people have said it's boring. Let's just watch you play Bullet. We've heard everything, but hopefully most people have been happy with the idea. Certainly on my end, I'm very, very happy. First off, I enjoyed this discussion with you, and getting a chance to sort of to listen to you answer these different and interesting questions, and I hope as well that as I say, most viewers share this sentiment, and certainly I hope that you have enjoyed this part of the stream, the Q&A.
Yeah.
So, is there anything you want to say before we move on to the Blitz tournament, or we just organize we get that going ASAP?
Just one thing, that normally I'm posting I'm posting video on a daily basis, and I tried my best to keep up to it, and I usually do it around midnight. Now it's 11:36, and I'm assuming that I won't be able to do it during the event, so I'll just post it now, and I invite the players to stay in the stream and not watch my video, and do it only after. So, yeah, we can go on to the...
So will I create the tournament?
Yeah.
Okay.
How does it work? You create the tournament and invite me?
Yeah, so let's see. Maybe somebody in the stream can tell me, okay, create a new tournament. I'll do that. And I think, guys, could somebody in the stream say, should I make the tournament, I guess, a private tournament, variant standard, initial position mode rated, time control. Let's do, how about we do 2 minutes plus 1 second? Do you prefer that, or 3 plus 0? Your call, Tal.
Well, I think 3 plus 0 is safer, because then there's less chance for games to drag on.
Okay, but it doesn't really matter, because we can define how long the tournament will last, and people get automatically paired. We don't have to wait, so it's up to you.
Okay, so let's leave it at 2 plus 1.
Okay, yeah. So there are no kind of issues where you're getting flagged and stuff. So duration, we can set anything, 40 minutes, 45, 50. What do you want to set?
Well, I wanted to actually go do something in about 20 minutes, but it's obviously not going to happen. So let's say 35 minutes.
35 minutes, okay.
Yeah.
So let us do that.
Be a little bit late for that other thing, and a little bit less generous towards the viewers who wants to play with us or with me.
Okay. That seems like a fair enough balance. We were the Q&A was a lot kind of longer than we expected it, but I think, you know, that it's overall I think it's been quite, for me it's been quite enjoyable, so I hope that we can maybe do something similar a few months from now, and maybe have more of an emphasis on playing chess and less emphasis on asking.
Definitely.
So let me just provide the link here to the tournament. And the tournament, for anybody who's unsure, will be on Lichess, and we can see there. Now I'm going to withdraw from the event because this is a stream, and so of course people will join. Most people from the stream, or a few people from the stream, will hopefully join and enjoy the event. But those who don't will get to listen to Tal's commentary as he plays the games. So, needless to say, if you're paired against Tal, we're using the honor system here. You know, just you know, mute the stream because this is going out kind of live. So so the tournament is starting in 3 minutes. Shuffle asks, why are you not playing? Well, because I'll be watching the commentary and possibly drawing arrows. One of my regular viewers who loves the arrow drawing, Kubets, is not here unfortunately, but yeah, we'll draw some arrows and explain to those who are not playing. So I'm happy to see that about 30 people have joined the event so far. Of course, the one person who hasn't joined it is Tal himself.
How do I join?
So I'll give you the link, but hold on a second. What would be the best way? I will send you the link to your account on Lichess, okay?
Sure.
So
yeah, got it.
perfect.
All right. So post the link also in the, or you have already, I'm assuming,
Yeah, yeah, I did so.
Just post it again in case someone didn't see it. Someone sent me a private message on Lichess mentioning that he can't find the link. So, okay, so I just joined. 50 minutes, 50 seconds
Perfect.
prior to the start, so I'm here in time. I see some quite high-rated players.
Yeah, guys, you know, these guys are...
typical, by the way. I mean, every single time I find myself streaming, I'm surprised to discover the average rating is going higher and higher from every stream.
Yeah, that's because your material is a little bit too instructive, Tal, you know? This is the problem.
A little bit too instructive?
Yeah, you're bumping up the level, you know? These guys.
Yeah. Maybe I should start explaining mate in once, yeah?
Yeah, you should. What you should start doing is, you know, saying things that are not true, right? You know, giving bad advice on purpose.
Yes.
Confuse the players. Okay, so 5 seconds to go.
All right. Let's go. Should I talk about the games?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so as I mentioned, French defense, personal favorite at this particular moment.
So guys, for anybody who doesn't know, Tal is black in this game.
Yeah, I'm playing black, and yeah, let's play one of the most fashionable ways to play. Knight h3 is a move I'm not very familiar with, and well, I can't see why it would be very dangerous. I'm assuming he wants f4, f5, but yeah, I don't see any reason to be afraid. Except for the usual reason where my clock is running very fast and I'm talking instead of playing.
This guy is Irish, by the way, you know, and he's a super, super fast player. And strong. He's young.
That's
and he's
very
included.
reassuring.
He's very fast in the time control, though, so the increment is going to help you, because I can tell you he is one of the fastest on the site, in my opinion.
Jaffa cake.
Yeah, he's I don't know how young he is, but he's quite young. He's 17, something like this.
Wow. A baby, practically. He was just born. So, we have... I wonder what Jaffa cakes mean. I mean...
I can tell you this.
Yeah, I think this is the most important part of the game we have right now. Without this stream, I would never had a chance to find it out.
So I'll tell you now. I'm just adjusting the screen so that our viewers can see the not just the board but also like the tournament scores and stuff like this. So I'm sorry about this lack of professionalism, but you know, here we are.
I forgive you.
I wasn't apologizing to you. I was apologizing to the viewers. You know.
Yeah, I was talking to the viewers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't have something.
Okay.
I can't say I'm too proud of my position, but it's definitely not too bad either. So I want to say something smart, but I don't really understand what's going on myself. It's just that, like, I have a very solid position with no apparent weaknesses, and this e5 pawn right here was weak. Now after d4, this bishop suddenly is more active on a6. So I'm trying to figure out how to activate my pieces. This knight is not working. I can give a general advice to everyone who wants to find a move in basically any position, is that you have to ask yourself, first of all, what does the opponent threat? And if you see no threat from his side, then you can ask another question: which piece doesn't work? And these two questions usually are very helpful for me. So, and it's a very difficult skill to master, these two questions. I believe Jacob Agar talked about it quite extensively in his book about positional play. So now I have to find a plan. I want to go b5. Don't know why, but I'll try it. But d takes c5 is just very bad for me. So yeah, that's a bit too much. I should have probably taken on d4 and played passively. Yeah, the position isn't very promising anymore. Trying to recover the pawn on c5 somehow. Are you sure he's very fast?
Yeah.
Maybe in the time pressure.
In the time pressure, yes.
Maybe I shouldn't have asked for 1 second. So I have 32 seconds, but a relatively lost position already. So I'm going to go for a, let's call it a sneaky play. Just going to create some shallow threats. I'm not sure when or how, but I hope I'll manage to create something. So, position isn't very promising, but now I think he made a mistake. Allowed me some sack. So, at least I was lucky in this sense. d4 is looming, but I'm not sure how to exactly perform this move. Oh, e5 is hanging. I actually completely missed it, so maybe it's a good idea to grab it. And now some d4 related idea. So, yeah, the position is now winning. And it's a matter of technique, which I hope to demonstrate. And Queen f1 mate. Okay, not my best game, but yeah, as we know, Jaffa Cakes is a very talented 17-year-old. And what does it mean again? I forgot.
Jaffa Cakes are like these, this type of like kind of sweet cake that you can buy them in a shop. They're not cake. It's not cake. It's not like a cookie or something. It's like, I don't know. But in Ireland, I don't think that anybody in any other country eats these Jaffa cakes. But in Ireland, they're super, super popular. So everybody in Ireland knows what a Jaffa cake is, and everybody outside of Ireland doesn't. So, but yeah, it's something Irish people like. It's a sweet.
We have a city in Israel called Jaffa, and I assumed that like there are cakes made in Jaffa, but
no, definitely not. No.
So we have one of my favorite lines these days. I wish I had known it better, but I really absolutely adore the consequences of this ridiculous opening. It's called the Vinaver variation or Gambit, and yeah, Queen takes g7 would have been principled way to play. Now I'm turning queen takes c2, but there's no time to defend the pawn because queen c3 check is a big threat. Yeah, and this move I think should lose a rook.
Yeah, nice.
That's unfortunate for Scheveningen too.
Scheveningen, I learned.
Yeah, but the Z was very confusing for me.
Definitely, yeah. I think it's something...
Scheveningen too. Sorry about being so, I'd call it sharp.
I would say theoretically sharp, right? You just knew.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, that's what I'm aiming for. You know, before I even finished my first game, some people already had the flame at their disposal. So I like to refer to it as they are being possessed by the flame. So bishop d3 or knight f3 are both very possible. And now I'm going to put my knowledge about the peers to the test. Bishop g4 is a sideline. I'm really not familiar with it, but it shouldn't be very convincing. So I'm assuming e5 should be principled. Let's try it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You're going to lose to the peers. By the way, there's something that I like to recommend the viewers when playing, not only in Blitz but in general. When you're curious about the move, even if it's scary, and you don't see why the move doesn't work, and you think about it for a while, then it makes sense to just play it and let go of the fear. So curiosity is something I like to promote, both in life and in chess. So I was curious about this e5, even though I wasn't very convinced yet. And worst case, I'll lose and find out why it wasn't so good.
Totally, I couldn't agree more with that, yeah. And it reminds me of this thing that Aronian said in an interview recently, how he said success is built on failures. And so yeah, I think it relates.
If you mention Aronian, I'll mention one very nice thing about him. I don't remember exactly when he said it or in which game, but he lost to Nakamura in some game in the Queen's Gambit declined with the 3 bishop e7. So I wish I could demonstrate, but he lost there. And then the interviewer asked him on, I believe it was on You in Chess magazine, don't you feel like this opening the Queen's Gambit decline is not for you? I mean, you've lost so many games to Nakamura, or in general, I don't remember. And he said that, yeah, it's true, I didn't have the best results in this opening, but if the opening is not mine, I will work harder and make it mine.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, let's sack some material. Why not? What is material for? Don't do it at home.
That's one way of looking at things.
Yeah. So I'm not sure, like, if it was a good idea to do it, because now I'm not very convinced that I have a good continuation, but I am eager to prove. But how? Let's put this bish over here. So I have the normal clock situation, but fortunately I didn't spend. I mean, I have this 1 second increment, so compared to my regular videos, I'm not going to be too quiet. I'm imagining my viewers being happy when I reach time pressure. Oh, we're finally going to see him play some chess instead of talking. And this time around, you can't get rid of me. I have increment. So rook takes b7 might be an idea. Okay, don't have much time to demonstrate, but it seems to work as far as I'm concerned. So I'll just play it. As
Sure.
I mentioned earlier, I'm curious why it might not work. I can't seem to figure out myself. Okay, probably can just go back, but at least I recovered some material. Now I'll gladly take another pawn. and try to convert my last pawn advantage, which is just lost. Yeah. Not the best example of...
Nah, dude, now you're gonna press home that positional advantage.
yeah, exactly. But how? I don't have time. I mean, just... Okay, let's just make some moves. That's another method that I have when it comes to time pressure. So let's put this bish on f6 and this rook over here. And
oh, Tal, you missed the most nicest one here.
Queen takes g6. I saw it 1 second, but
yeah, queen takes
but
g6.
it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Oh shit, you're right. It doesn't work. It's just a draw.
As I like to brag every now and then, my name is Tal after all.
But it works only for a draw.
Yeah, I actually... I mean, I sense that it doesn't work. I can't say that I actually calculated, because in this time control I don't have time to think. But yeah. There was a red flag attached to this queen side. So, yeah, but I hope to get a chance to sacrifice something. So, by the time I finished the first game, this guy Kina already had been possessed by the flame. So, yeah. There are a few stars over here on Lichess, and in this particular tournament, Kina is the guy. And there's one particular guy which I like his username quite a lot. It's Gnejs. Have you seen him?
Yeah. I don't like playing against him.
I invented tons of like adjectives based or verbs based on his name, like Gnejful, Gnejmissive, and tons of vocabulary based on his play.
I think I don't actually know like officially what the point is, but I think the point is like genius. I think that's the point, but maybe it has nothing to do. But
yeah,
I refuse to call him genius though, because he beats me too often. So I call him.
The guy is literally the most objective bullet player I've seen in my life. So
yeah, it's insane. It's insane how good he is, and he's only like a young FIDE master.
Does he have an identity also?
No, he's anonymous, but I know that he's that. I know he's young and FIDE master.
Well, I'm jealous on both aspects, because if he's a FIDE master and he already is that good in bullet, then I mean, who knows what might become of him?
Yeah, for sure.
He actually becomes much better. So now I'm pretty much working on instinct as far as the game is concerned. I can't really explain my moves, justify them, so to speak. I just try to move forward. Yeah, he wants to prevent 94, which is a good point. But I'll just go here, protect from b takes c4 followed by c takes b4, or the other way around. Yeah, I feel like my position should be better because of my space advantage on the queen side. But yeah, there is no concrete way to, as far as I can tell, to take it home. So I'll try to grab more space.
Yeah, I think this move by white knight g5 is a nice move.
Yeah. I received a message from my girlfriend saying that she was in the stream and she posted a lot of questions and we didn't address any of them. So,
really?
So probably, shit. Yeah.
You told me about this before the stream.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
I took an eye.
I wasn't aware of it at the time. I mean, I just assumed she would just watch, but yeah, just as a French friend of mine likes to say, too late, apologize.
Is that anybody who is known?
Yeah, but of course I won't mention. So, yeah, taking more space. Give me the space. Okay. Don't have much time, but he has even less. So let's bring the knight over somewhere. I want to put it on d6. Not sure what's the destination, but my opponent doesn't seem to be very responsible of his moves either. Oh, but did I just miss a pawn? Let's go back. I don't have much time. Nah. There's just not enough time to figure out what's going on. C takes b3 looks interesting. And, okay, let's go for it. Yeah, now I'm just gaining a pawn. Alright. And the rook. Oh no, wait, it's defended, yeah. So far so good. Yeah. You know the funny thing about Lichess tournaments? It's that regardless to the level of your play, it's very important to win quickly. And I find it very frustrating that I can play amazing chess sometimes, not very often, but every now and then. And my opponents just play faster. I mean, not the opponents. Some people play faster and bad chess, but they win more games in the same time. And they have the flame.
Yeah,
There's nothing I can do about it. They're just, out gnedging the field.
Well, I cannot say anything because I am one of those players, so but I understand.
Well, I don't care about winning the Lichess tournaments. So generally I just try to play my best chess, be loyal to myself in this sense. And now I'm threatening bishop takes f7, which I think he kind of prevented, but I have e5, so yeah. I feel like there should be some concrete way to punish my opponent. So bishop f7, knight g5 looks quite convincing to me. Yeah, queen d5 and mate. So he's gonna lose the queen. So if king g8, queen d5 is mating on f7, and yeah. Just
it's natural that he would do that because if king e8, of course, there was knight e6.
So if king a8 or f8, knight e6 would have trapped the queen. And yeah. That's actually finally a game, as I referred to earlier, like Tal, yeah?
Yeah. Okay,
now
you got
What?
You got a tough player on your hands, and he just berserked you.
I'm very pleased when someone is doing this against me. Not because I'm going to win or anything, just because it's funny. I mean, they see someone with the G before the M, and their first thought is berserk, and it's Blitz. Yeah, f5 looks really good right now. I mean, I'm not sure what's going on, but
f5.
yeah, the guy's higher rated than me, so who knows? He might prove his berserk full play to be convincing. So let's see. EF is a threat, so let's grab this guy first. Bishop c4 looks like a good move to me. Yeah, I don't know how to exploit his play, which I would really like to do. So let's start at a4, just to, I don't know, wait and see. Yeah, now he's attacking a pawn. d5 might be interesting. Okay, I'll try it. Trying to exploit some weak squares, but yeah, now seems like might be a bit problematic for me. So let's go bishop f4. I feel like I should be much better with this development, but yeah. I won one game like Tal, let's win one game like Alex, yeah?
Like
this
me?
is how you win games?
In this?
By developing and out-berserking your opponents?
Yeah, but you didn't berserk, man.
No, I mean he did, so I want to out-berserk him.
Okay.
I don't know, it's probably not correct English, but I just want to use these terms somehow.
Listen, if this is how I supposedly win my games, I'm not offended, you know? Completely.
Okay, thanks.
Completely crushing your opponent out of the opening is pretty good. So this knight is...
Well, yeah.
Is saying good night, right?
Exactly, yeah. Good night. Yes. Bye-bye, Kina. Or no? He's still fighting. I appreciate it. I appreciate the fighting spirit. So queen g7 check or bishop f5 check. Which one should I aim for? I like queen g7 more. But yeah. I mean, when opponents continue in such cases, it feels like they just don't want you to to have more games before the tournament ends.
Yeah, but I don't think that that's the case.
I'm facing, no, not in this particular case, but generally speaking. Oh, now I'll present to you, assuming he'll go bishop f5. Yeah, one of my favorite lines also. That's a line that I developed together with a friend, and I know you'll probably figure it out. Don't mention the name. It's a riddle for everyone out there to figure out. Okay? If Eddie only played h6, come on. It's too late now. I mean, this line is not boundary a piece because of bishop f5 and queen a5 check. I actually studied it when I was like 12. Also this one as well. Bishop f5 is the main move, I think.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this... Had he only played h6, I would have told you about the line. So, it's actually my recent video was titled like this. It's called the Boroditsky variation. So, you probably will figure out what is the meaning of this name, but yeah, let's leave it for the viewers to figure out, to solve. So, the main point of that line is to leave the pawn on h4 instead of putting it on h5 as in the normal main lines. I'm assuming you know what I'm referring to, yeah? So you can watch my video and I explain some of the differences. And I hope this line will actually be named one day the Boroditsky variation because the Caro-Kann is named after two people. Yeah. So it makes sense that within the Caro-Kann you'll have the Boroditsky.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think you're making a strong case, Tal.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, hopefully, thanks to this stream, it will be officially known in the great masses out there.
I would be surprised if it wasn't, man. I would be.
Yeah. And well, there are many different funky points behind this move order with the pawn on h4. One is that we leave the h5 square for the knight. How can I exploit this? Pawn on d4 is hanging, and it's not very nice. Do I waste a move on c3? I really don't want to. Bishop c4, e6, knight e5, bishop d6. Not so. Okay, you know what? Just king b1. When I don't know what to do in castle long position, yeah, my advice is not very useful for beginners, you know? When I don't know what to do, I just go king b1. And this wasn't even such a good move.
Yeah, because why did you explain why you retreated the bishop there?
Knight c3 was a very big threat in addition to knight f4.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I'm more intrigued by where the knight will go rather than what it's threatening. So I would have preferred to retreat my bishop to h2 when I could, but knight c3 was just too devastating.
Of course. Forking
the king and the queen, but you know that the viewers, the average rating is like 2750, yeah? How can I delete all the arrows? Is there a button for it?
There is
I have to actually redo every single arrow.
No, you just click the left button.
No, it doesn't work.
Left click?
Left.
Left click.
Amazing, thank you. Just saved like half an hour of my future life.
But you should also know that there's no need for you to draw arrows because they cannot see them.
Yeah, but I wasn't aware of it at the time, but yeah, now it sounds obvious. So, how can I exploit it? I guess I just take a pawn, but which one? Yeah, I have to win quickly if I want to win the tournament, but I mean, I will settle for second place also. I mean, Kina is just too strong. Queen e5 looks nice, but man, not sure. Bishop takes d7 is also tempting. Let's go queen e5. But no, yes, rook f2 ideas. Okay, just play regular chess, attacking the queen, and now queen e5 seems more logical to me. Yeah, he will probably... I missed mate in one. Nice. Okay, nice finish. So, did I win like Alex?
Of course, man. Whenever any win is a win like Alex, you know. This is the rule in this stream, Tal. Listen, you're on 24 points, but Kina is killing you, man. He is killing you.
What can I do? I mean, the guy is like, he's not possessed by the flame, but he's definitely possessed by something else that grants him very.
He's berserking. He's berserking every game, man.
Well, I mean, I can only salute. There's nothing else I can do. I'm not intending to berserk a single game. I want to set an example for the masses. Not that I'm such a good example, but at least I want to try, you know? It just feels like something worth doing if we have some viewers. Yeah, this is a typical tactic.
Yeah, very nice.
Most
tactic.
of the viewers will already understand. And I keep drawing arrows, man. Knight c2. I have to get rid of this habit. So, here, castle long. What can I do? Bishop takes c3, followed by something. I can actually... don't want to lose the piece. I can go c5, but then I guess it works. Okay, let's go c5. Seems logical enough. So I'm a queen up. Let's ask the viewers in the chat, like, what's...
Not a queen up anymore, man.
Not a queen up anymore. I actually imagined that the bishop on b4 was preventing bishop b5. I honestly believed it.
Yeah.
But I'm still a piece up, surprisingly enough.
It's good enough. I actually think maybe it was the best line.
Maybe. Who knows? Let's see if this particular hater will join the stream later on and will write in the comment that this line was recommended by the computer and was better than Carlsen's over-the-board play. I won't be surprised if he writes it.
This guy who you're playing?
No, not this particular guy. The
Oh.
particular hater from the...
Oh, I was wondering,
the
yeah.
Reddit,
Okay. I was wondering.
yeah. No, this particular guy seems nice. I mean, hang my sack. I mean, come on. What possibly can be not nice about someone with such a funky nickname?
He was writing as well in the stream earlier, so he's definitely one of the viewers.
Yeah. No, he managed to find some really nice moves, and the queen sack was very creative. So very nice.
Yeah, and he
hang my sack.
He did resign very early.
Yeah. The guy is just a
nice.
role model, I think, for all the players out there who want to be creative and demonstrate sportsmanship.
Yeah,
So,
and he's actually also saying thank you, good game. So
yeah. I mean, only thing left is for him to improve and become better than me, and I will just salute even more than I do to Kina.
So yeah, unfortunately,
Kina is farther possessed.
he's back on fire, Kina. But the good news is he's playing Lance, who is a very strong player. The bad news is you got 4 minutes and 51 seconds. You better berserk.
I'm not very competitive when it comes to Kina.
Berserk him. He's 1700. Ah.
I will not berserk even if you pay me at this particular moment. But feel free to donate.
Yeah.
Even though it's not my channel.
Yeah. We haven't said that, you know. But you know, I'm not gonna mute your voice, man. Actually, I haven't checked.
Oh, this is a weird transposition to one of the main lines of the King's Indian with b6, bishop b7 included. And I actually have played against some low-rated guy, about 2000, who played this in a rapid tournament against me. More or less the same type of moves, and he managed to beat me in that rapid game. So b6, bishop b7 is not that harmless, even though it's not main theory. So we're following more or less the main plan in this variation, where, yeah, knight h5 isn't the move I was expecting. But it's also valid, I mean, to sack the pawn for compensation. Alright, so King's Indian with h3, by the way, is a very nice line. White tries to depress black, just like I mentioned in the Benko earlier. The press is counterplay with g4. Usually black's counterplay is relying on f5.
Yeah, for sure.
Pawn on g4, it's gonna be less than fun. for black if white is successful in preventing it. And then he will just be left with space. And as I've mentioned probably by now, space is something I like. Regardless to recent movies in Hollywood that were probably quite bad. The Martian, you know, Star Wars, all this stuff.
Yeah.
I guess they are space related.
Sorry, one second.
You know, I'm actually copywriting Jan Gustafsson's material.
You are?
Yeah, at this particular moment, he said this exact sentence in one of the banter Blitz.
Jan is a pretty funny dude.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of this Radio Jan stuff?
Oh my god.
I watched a few minutes.
I have a funny idea now. He didn't enter it. I want to play queen e7 check followed by queen takes f7.
Nice. I like the idea, yeah.
Yeah, but what can I do now? I'm only many pieces up. And, I can still give a check like this in queen e7. This would be nice.
That's nice, yeah.
Yeah, and probably king h6 is the only move to avoid simplifications. But he didn't find it.
For the trick. Nice.
Alright. Let's pre-move all the way. And bring the king over. It's not a stalemate. Worst player here. Oh, this is too humble. You're not the worst. Come on. What a nickname. You know, the people at this stream are very pleasant to play against. From sportsmanship point of view.
Yeah, only the finest on the Astaneh stream.
Yeah, exactly. Someone wrote something in the chat in Hebrew. Not your chat, I mean in tournaments.
Okay.
But I didn't have time to read it, I just saw it. So, let's see. I don't have much time. Do I get a chance to finish the game?
No, this game will not really count for the purposes of the tournament.
So let's just demonstrate
you can just
theory.
Take
Let's
it easy.
focus on the opening before. How much time do we have left?
Like in the tournament, 40 seconds.
Okay, I'll pre-move all the way.
No, I think you should just chill out and instruct the game. Because I really don't think that you're gonna get there.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. Okay, but the opening part is behind us, and this was the crucial part to explain, to understand what happened. And my position right now is a pawn up, if I'm counting correctly, and it's only gradually improving as we exchange pieces. So, yeah. Knight versus bishop, he has this weak pawn. I wish he would pre-move as well. I can mate him. No, I can't. So, I guess there's no time to win this. Especially taking into account the fact that I ruined some of the advantage. And I think I'm still better because taking on c6 isn't working. Oh, maybe I am in time. Come on. The tournament is finished already, right?
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, the tournament is finished.
Yeah. But I will manage to win the game. Yes, Irdas resigned. Hang my sack. Nice fighting spirit. And once again, he resigned on time. So, kudos to you, wherever you may be. And I've guaranteed my second place in the tournament. Only 5 points behind Kina, which I consider an achievement. It's been a while since I've been second place on a tournament on leeches.
To be fair,
the guys are so good here in general.
To be fair, Tal, you know, I think that one mistake that we made is that we should have perhaps, well, not really, I mean, but one option if we do something like this in the future is to make the rule of no berserking. Just because when you're commenting, you know, you want to berserk. You don't want to berserk because it affects the commentary, you know?
I don't want to berserk in general. I find this rule highly harmful for the, let's call it the chess improvement.
Yeah, well,
but okay, not everyone take Blitz so seriously.
yeah, I think that's one thing actually that we never talked about in the stream. But you're somebody who really, like as you said earlier, you play several hours of Blitz for
yeah, at least 2 or 3 hours per day. Even though I only record maybe 20% of it. So yeah, it's not. I truly believe it helps me improve, especially in terms of openings, understanding, and and motivation for the game to work in the other hours of the day. I currently don't have a job. My only source of income is playing chess tournaments and so on. I don't even accept students as for now, because I didn't find anyone above 2,500, except for one lucky person. And yeah, I cannot say that playing Blitz has harmed my chess in any way, despite what many coaches might claim.
Yeah, yeah, because a lot of people do think. Me personally, I think that the main issue with playing Blitz is not that Blitz is harmful, but it's that you could be doing more productive types of chess work.
Yeah,
with that time.
That's true. So I hope everyone understood what was going on in the games, because I was quite rushing. I saw the opponents were quite high rated, and I didn't explain as thoroughly as I would normally do. But if any of my regular viewers are here, I'm sure they liked it even more because they never get the chance to see me just playing chess.
That's true, actually. Of course, I don't know if some of your regular viewers have shown up or not. I'm sure that some have, because you made an announcement on your channel.
Yeah, I'm sure some have showed up.
Listen, Tal, it's I know that it's 20 past 10 here my time, but it's 2 hours later in Israel for you, so it's already gone midnight. And I know that you said you had to do something already, about half an hour ago. So let's not stick around too much longer.
Yeah, we can stick for like 3-4 minutes to just summarize.
Exactly. Oh. So do you? Well, I mean, okay. I guess I will just say first, and then you can have the closing words.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, on my end, nothing much to say. I mean, other than what I've already said, which is it's I said at the start of the stream, it was a pleasure to an honor to that you were willing to join for this. I really appreciate that, and I'm very, very happy to return the favor at some point if you can find some use for me over on your YouTube channel. And also I want to ask, please, as a favor, if somebody in the chat could post a direct link to Tal's channel, or in fact, actually, because perhaps my name kind of just has a little bit more visibility on the stream, maybe not, but let me just directly find your channel and link it on for people. That should be quite easy for me, because I'm subscribed to your channel, and I will say that it's probably the only channel, aside from occasional things like Peter's Fiddler's Banter Blitz, and Jan Gustafsson's Banter Blitz is very good as well, because he's a very strong player. But in terms of a channel where I feel like I could tune in to any one of your videos and get something out of it, I think that it's really I think, hold on, let me just I think this is one of the few channels that if not the only channel that I feel is like that. So I think some of the stronger players who have been tuning into this stream, you guys should definitely check it out. But I feel that there's something there even for players of almost any level, perhaps the exception being players who are at a beginner or quite weak club player type level. Maybe if you disagree with that, you can offer your opinion. other than that, I hope that this format can be repeated, perhaps with you, maybe at some point, if you're available at some point after the Olympiad or something like this. Who knows?
Yeah.
And
Definitely, if I have the time and I'm in the mood for more questions to be tossed at me, then why not? I mean, it was fun. It's really nice to be appreciated, and it's surprising me every single time that anyone is willing to watch what I'm doing when it comes to just doing what I love, and which is not very difficult for me. It's basically effortless to play chess and have fun, and people are interested in our skills and what we have to say. So I'm very flattered, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm also pleased that you appreciate the fact that I came here, because I don't feel like I'm doing you any favor or anything. I think it's a really great idea that you came up with, and as I mentioned earlier, I'm honored to be the first one to be invited to this type of let's call it stream.
yeah, well, my idea was to do something a little bit like a discussion or like a podcast type thing, and just be able to sort of interchange ideas, because I think that it's quite easy today to get access to, you know, like a grandmaster being asked questions, and then maybe you write them in an article. But
Yeah.
I think this kind of interaction, this back and forth, this discussion, and also the kind of the combination of chess questions with kind of more human element, I think it's a really cool concept. And as I say, I mean, I occasionally checked the numbers for the stream. Last time I checked, we were at about 130 or 135 viewers. I don't know if that has dropped now. Towards the end, it sometimes drops.
122, I see.
Yeah, so this is good. I don't know what it was at kind of the peak, but I can tell you that for the most part, this is, you know, these are more viewers than I get on almost all of my streams. So clearly, people overall have liked the idea, and I'm sure they appreciate your views on things, your opinions, and your perspective. So that's really it on me. If you want to, you know, thank you, by the way, to all the viewers who tuned in, and my regular viewers, and any viewers from Tal's channel, and any viewers that aren't regulars of either, but tuned in from the Reddit thread. So we appreciate that. And yeah, any final words? I'll leave it to Tal.
Yeah, it's very motivating to see that so many people out there are interested in what we have to say. And as you probably know or heard, in chess there's not a lot of potential to earn money, and I'm very pleased that at least there is some form of gratitude or appreciation that we receive from the crowd out there, and I'm really flattered. I can't really understand how it happened. That a few years ago I was just a normal boy, and still am, but these days suddenly people are interested in what I have to say. So it's very humbling.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you enjoy what you're doing, and we're gonna see you.
Yeah.
We're gonna see you. You've been with your YouTube channel and occasional streaming for about 4 months. You've got over 1,000 subscribers already. I think over 1,100 subscribers, and I'm sure that will just increase in time, because the good news is that you're not going to be going away anytime soon. You're happy to do this for
yeah. I'm sticking to the chess arena and chess career related stuff for the next. I can't commit to it right now, but I'm willing to do it for the next dozens of years to come, and this is the thing I love the most. So I don't see any reason why I'll stop playing chess, and why not to share it with the world if there's anyone who wants to see.
Well,
so, that's great.
That sounds good to me, and I hope it sounds good to all our viewers and to the chess community at large. So that's it from both of us, guys. Hope you enjoyed the stream, and I'll be back with my regular stuff tomorrow. So anybody who didn't catch the full stream, you can check it out both in my Twitch archive, but also for sure in Tal's channel over the coming couple of days. So good night to everyone, and see you again.
Good night. See you soon.